out there? My name is Caitt and welcome back to my channel. In today's Friday the 13th video, I am going to be telling you about my car that I believe is haunted. Now before I get into any stories about the car, I'm going to tell you some facts about it. So this car is as old as me. I was born in 1997, and this car model is a 1998. Now, if you know anything about cars, or if you watch TV and you see commercials for cars, the car that they're advertising is the next year's model. I want to say mid-2020, they're going to start advertising for the 2021 car models. So since this car is a 1998, it really came out in 1997. Now, I'm not going to say, you know, the brand of the car or the model it is. Obviously, it's like a car. It's like a 5-seat, it's a 2-door. This car was a relative's, and it just so happened that at the time by the time I got my license, they were looking for a new car. So I got this car. And I want to say this right now, I didn't want this car. But the only reason I didn't want it was because I didn't think I could drive it. I don't know if I've ever talked about it in a video, but I tore my meniscus in my left knee my junior year of high school. And my meniscus tear was a minor stage 1 tear, so all I needed was physical therapy for it to help it get better. But I do have runner's knee, which is also called patellofemoral syndrome, in both of my knees. I've never talked about this in a video, but it means that, okay, you know when you're riding a bike and your knee has to like almost straighten and then bend in? My knee going like this, I don't know if you can really tell, but having my knee like bent like that does not feel good. For a low car, I thought that you would have to keep your leg mostly straight, like in this position. So I was like, I need a higher up car so that my knee can be bent like this, so it's almost 90 degrees, just like a little bit extended more than that. Now time came for me to go to college, and this was the only car I got. So I started driving it, and my legs were fine. It didn't hurt to drive the car. So again, I just wanted to put that out there, that the only reason I didn't want the car at the beginning was because I didn't think I could drive it. I thought my knees would lock and I wouldn't be able to, you know, if my knee locks when I'm on the gas, I can't move it. You know, I'd have to like pick it up to move it to the brake, and it would just be stuck like that. So until I like did something to help it out. But driving that is not safe. I say me and this car have a connection. This car knows me. Just by saying that, I'm gonna get on to the stories of how this car is haunted. Now, I say that this car knows me, right? This car also, I don't want to say the word vibe, but like the energy it has. This car has an energy. This car like likes and dislikes people. If the car likes somebody, like if someone drove my car, which isn't often, but if someone else drove my car and took it out, with me not being in it, with me being in it, the next time that I get back in the car, if someone that this car likes and treated this car nicely drove the car, it is so nice. The energy is so uplifting. But if someone the car doesn't like, if someone treated the car badly and didn't treat it respectfully, when I get back in the car, it's almost like the car is saying, like, dude, don't ever let that person back in here. Like, that was horrible. Now, this car also, like, listens to me and understands. So there was one time, I am going to try to describe this as best that I can. I was driving through the woods, and there was this curve. Now, when you're in the woods, there are trees opposite sides of you, And if there is a curve, like a turn, you can't see what's around that corner. But there was a sign before the turn that said there was a light ahead, like one of these signs. So I told my car, and I was also on a hill. This, like, the hill was going down, and then the curve also, like, went downhill. So obviously I was like, my foot was on the brake, like I was holding the brake so that I wasn't going too fast, that I didn't speed up going down this hill. Like, I made sure that my speed stayed and didn't speed up when I went downhill, obviously, because when you go down hills, gravity, and you go faster. So I had my foot like slightly on this brake, and I told my car, I said out loud, okay, there's a light around this corner, we're gonna have to stop. On the word stop. Okay, this hand, I'm gonna put my sleeve over it. This hand is the brake. This hand is my foot. So I'm like slightly pushing on the brake, right? As soon as I say the word stop, the brake pushes all the way down and the car stops. And then obviously my foot didn't like rest up there, but like my foot came down with it. But the brake dropped first, and then my foot, gravity took hold of my foot and my foot went down. So the car stopped itself. When I said the word stop, the brake pushed down and the car stopped. On this hill, too. Before the light, before we even turned, this car stopped. And, you know, I said, whoa, what's wrong? Are you okay? And then I lifted my foot back up off the brake because I had control again. And then we continued going down the hill. And around the curve and to that light. And stopped at that light because it was red. Yeah, but I said the word stop and the car stopped. The brake pushed down. Like, I wasn't controlling the brake. The brake just went down on its own. And I'm gonna say this again. This is not a new car. This car is 22 years old. That technology was not available when this car was made. There's no... I mean, like... And another thing, I don't have road rage. I don't really get mad at other drivers, but I do kind of like little lecture them. If they're being a bad driver, I'll tell them they're being a bad driver. But if someone is driving on my butt, this is just one example, and the one that I can think of off the top of my head. If there's a car driving on my butt and I'm just like, you better not, you better back off. I'm saying this. Like, my windows are up, this car can't hear me. As soon as I say that, the car starts to back off, and this has happened multiple times. Like, almost every time someone is driving on my butt, they will slowly back off as soon as I, like, say, oh, you better not, like, you better, like, back off. Like, just don't drive that close to someone, it's not safe. Whatever I say that's, like, directed at this other car and directed at how close they are to me, the car starts to back off. So... and they can't hear me. So all I can think is, like, I don't know if my car, like, somehow spiritually, like, pushes the car away, but that's how I get drivers off my butt. I just say something and they back off and they can't hear me. Now, the next story I want to tell you is with my radio. Now, my radio dial is broken. If I don't say anything and I just turn the dial, the volume... if I turn it to the right, which means louder, sometimes it'll go softer. If I turn it lower to the left, sometimes it'll go louder. Now, I'm gonna turn the radio on. You can hear that it's on. Okay, can you turn the volume up? Can you turn the volume down? Can you turn the volume up? Don't you call him, can you turn the volume down? Okay, now I'm gonna not say anything. Don't you call him what you used to call me. I confess, I can tell that you This car also has a favorite song, which is I'm the One by DJ Khaled and Justin Bieber. Whenever that song comes on the radio, the volume turns up. The dial doesn't turn, but the volume turns up. Every time that song comes on, my car loves it so much that it turns it up. The car also knows which songs I like. There was this one time I was listening to the radio very loud because I was listening to Beautiful People by Ed Sheeran and Caitt, and I love that song. So, you know how on the radio, in between songs, there's the announcer's voice, and it is very loud. So if you have the radio turned up very loud, the announcer's voice is going to be like blasting through your car. So at the end of Beautiful People, like I usually do, because I know at the end of a song that announcer's voice is going to come on and it's going to be really loud, I turn the volume down. Now when I try to turn the volume down, I was telling my car, like, turn the volume down. The volume stayed where it was and it started like going higher. And I was like, no, turn the volume down. And I'm trying to turn the volume down with the dial and I'm saying, turn the volume down. Well, my car finally gave in and turned the volume down. But guess what? Post Malone's song Goodbyes with Young Thug was the next song that was coming on after the little commercial. After that little break, that was the next song. So my car was saying, dude, Post Malone is the next song to come on. So you should keep the volume up. So that's why it was fighting me. It knew that song was next, and then as soon as I realized Post Malone was on, I'm like, oh, sorry, and then I turned the volume up, and it let me turn the volume up to the exact, I was gonna say temperature, what's it called? The exact volume that I wanted, because it was another song that I loved. If there's nothing on the radio, and I've checked every station I listen to, I'll go to the CD. I'll hit CD player. But sometimes I can tell when my car is trying to get the CD player to work, because it'll like, I'll hear like the disc spinning. But sometimes it doesn't even try. Like, there is no sound coming from the CD player at all. It's not even trying to get the CD to work. So, a few times this happened, and I didn't realize it at first. But I turned the radio back on, and I'm like, oh, I like this song. And it's like a song that I like was coming on. So, once I finally noticed it and realized what was happening, when I went to the CD player the next time, because there was nothing on the radio, I was like, okay, it's probably telling me that a song I like is about to come on the radio. Turn the radio back on, switch to the channels, what do you know? Song I like. That's why I say my car knows me. It knows the music I like, and it has a favorite song, which is awesome. Like,